Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's PF, and on today's episode I've got the great fortune of covering a brand new release from Loch Lomond Distillery. Massive thanks to them for sending this over to me for review. Now this is a brand new venture for theirs. You know, Loch Lomond are well known for doing massive amounts of different kind of whiskies. They've got so many different still types there, lots of different cask choices, so there's so many styles coming out of that place, it's unreal. Now one thing that they're doing now is this new Waypoint series. So what we've got here is, you could be fooled into thinking this was just a Loch Lomond 16. Oh no. This is part of their new Waypoint series, and this is the Falls of Falloch, and hopefully I'm saying that properly. The first in the series, so I guess this is going to be an expanded upon series that's meant to kind of celebrate their locality, basically. Now I will say, it came in this lovely box. I don't normally do boxes on these videos, it kind of cuts down on it, but I do mention boxes sometimes when they're kind of nice. I mean, like the effort that's gone into this thing is unreal, so it'd be remiss of me not to share it. However, it's very wordy. So there's a whole story behind it about why they're bothering to kind of remark on natural landmarks and things like that. But that's not what I do on this channel. I don't really sort of talk about that. We just talk about the actual whiskey itself. But worth noting that the whole point of this series is a celebration of where they are and what they're about. And Michael Henry, obviously we all know, is a bit of a whiskey genius. He's attempting to create profiles that match areas or whatever. But yeah, anyway, what we've got here today then is a 16-year-old Loch Lomond. It's done in their Swan Neck stills. It's 3 types of ex-bourbon. They don't elaborate on that, but we can take some guesses, being that it's probably first fill, second fill, and then refill casks, I imagine. Finished for 12 months in ex-cognac casks. So that's the big one about this, is that it's cognac finished. Non-chill filtered, natural coloured, runs for about 80 quid, which overall isn't that bad for a 16-year-old these days. Yeah, I think the best thing to do is pretty much just get into it and see what we got. Now, we can talk about colour a little bit because we know it's natural colour. I will say, I would say it's fairly light actually for what I would consider a 16-year-old to be, but that says to me that it's probably had a larger portion of refill casks than the first fill, but I don't know that for a fact. I'm just guessing by the colour profile on that. But as always, that doesn't bother me at all. All we care about here is the nose and the flavour, and then the price of that. The price of admission, as they say. Let's get onto the nose in and see what we got. Now, this has got a very, also very light and fragrant nose. Obviously unpeated. So it's very floral. A little sweet, but not like overly sweet, which is nice. We like that. Really nice, really easygoing whiskey, I would say. Let's get onto the palate. Now for me, this is where this whiskey shines. Now, where the nose was very understated, I find anyway the palate to be subtle but impactful. Seems like an odd thing to say, but the cognac cast seems to be going amiss on me, but because I'm getting quite a large amount of orchard fruits, kind of apples, pears, all the traditional things I'd be expecting to get, like vanillas, honeys, touch of saltiness in there, touch of spice in there as well. I would say on the back end it's a little bit more impactful than the start. It sort of builds a little bit, and then on the back end that all fizzles out, and you're left with a kind of a sense of the tannins, the wood, the cask, which I'm enjoying quite a lot. Again, the cognac cask is a bit lost on me. Cognac to me, very sweet. Obviously it's made from grapes, so I'm getting a kind of a more of a winey element to it. Whereas it's taken a little bit of a back step on this, I think, but that's all part of the subtleties. Now, one thing I will say about this whiskey, obviously, you know me, I tend to, I've had this bottle for a couple of weeks now. I don't tend to rush bottles out until I'm ready to review them. This one in particular, I got it a couple of weeks ago, and the first dram I had of it, literally on the day I received it, I opened it up and I poured it into a glass, left it out on the side and tried it. And I found the first taste to be really underwhelming, it really surprised me. It just didn't taste of much at all. Now, what I did then was, as always, I never judge a whiskey on the neck pour. Sometimes neck pours are fine, sometimes they're not. In fact, I often say neck pour, I don't really think neck pour is a thing. I actually think bottle shock is more of a thing. So, you know, if you're having a neck pour that's been sat on your shelf for a while and is bad, fair enough. But I think if it's been in a van overnight, it's cold, it's been shook, you know, I think that affects it a little bit more. And what I did was then, you know, put the cap back on, leave it on the shelf for a week or so, come back to it, and it was unbelievably changed, to this whiskey that I've just reviewed today. So, not really part of the review per se, but just an All Patrols broadcast, a bit of a warning that never trust a neck pour, basically. You know, you should always come back to it later, because little gems come through here all the time. Now, price-wise, 80 quid. It's a lot of money. But I will say, in today's climate, you know, I've been doing this gig for 8 years or so now, and I've seen prices climb. Generally, I will say that's about valid for this day and age. Then you start layering on things like it's Loch Lomond. You know, we like Michael Henry. He's a massive fan of kind of whiskey tube in general. A big part of the community. Excellent whiskey blender, excellent whiskey maker. He's doing fantastic, you know, Lord's work, so to speak. Once you start adding into those layers, once you know all that, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I think most people are going to be into this. I will say again, you know, based on the tasting notes I've just given you, it's a very light and easy-going whiskey. So if you're after massive, bold flavours, cask strength, peat, all things like that, you're not going to get that here. But I think a lot of you, especially like me, I'm coming back round to these kind of easy-going whiskies, the gentler side of things that I can just sip and enjoy. And this is definitely that. It's, yeah, really, really, really good. I'm definitely interested to see where this series goes after this. Obviously, you know, I'm a peat fan, so I'd love to see some peat, but we'll see. I'm interested. I'll say, yeah, really good. But let me know if you've been interested in this. Let me know if you've tried it or if you're going to get it or whatever. Let's have a little chat in the comments below, and I'll see you again on more videos coming soon. Cheers.